You clicked on this video because you need help being productive, and so I am not going to take up a lot of your time. I'm just going to jump right in and share 5 tips that are going to help you get productive and stay productive for a long period of time. So if you need to work an 8-hour day, this is going to help you actually follow through and do everything that you set out to do that day. So the first step is to be very intentional with where you work. So you need to work in a place where you won't be distracted, in a place where you can comfortably be there for a long period of time. So for example, if you like to work in coffee shops, make sure you pick a coffee shop where you're going to be able to actually sit there for as long as you need to. Or if you want to maybe have 2 locations, you can have a morning location and then do a location change. But be very clear before you start working exactly where you're going to be doing this work throughout the day. I would recommend 1, maybe 2 locations. If you try to do more than 2 locations, it's just going to slow you down. You don't want to be wasting time switching between spaces. So pick 1 to 2 spaces where you're going to work, and these should both be spaces where you can work quietly, be uninterrupted. Even better if you're surrounded by other people that are working. That's why I like working in coffee shops. Because if I'm trying to work and I'm surrounded by people who are relaxing or who are gaming or who are doing other things, then it doesn't motivate me. So if you're going to work around people who are going to also be working next to you, and just be very intentional with where you decide to get this work done. The second thing that I want you to do is plan out your breaks and actually take them. A lot of the times we focus on planning out our work, and I will have more to say on that in just a second, but when you plan out a break, it makes it easier for you to focus during your work time. That's why Pomodoro is so effective, because people will know if I work for these 50 minutes, I'm going to get 10 minutes off, and it is so much easier to actually lock in and get focused when you know that rest is coming, versus deciding I am just going to work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and maybe I'll get up if I get hungry, but I have no idea. And so actually plan out your breaks, and when it comes time to take a break, regardless of how much work you've gotten done, you have to get up and take that break. And I guarantee you will be more focused during your work time if you are actually honoring the rest time. And so with that said, on breaks, the third tip that I have for you is to plan out 2 types of breaks. So the first type of break is what I call a bio break, a break because your body needs something. So this is your lunch break. This is a break where you'll probably go to the bathroom, or a break to refill your water bottle. Decide when you're going to do those things ahead of time so that you can just lock in and work and not feel like you have to get distracted every time you get hungry or every time you need water. You know, okay, I'm going to refill my water bottle in the next 5 minutes, so I'm just going to keep working through this work block, and then 5 minutes from now I'll get up and I'll refill my water bottle, or 5 minutes from now I'll get up and I'll get a snack. Now, of course, think about this within reason. If you have some kind of emergency and you need to go to the bathroom, then go to the bathroom, right? Like if you're keeling over and you're starving and you need to eat and you can't even focus, get up and eat. But within reason, just based on what you know about yourself, plan out, when am I going to have lunch? When am I going to have dinner? When am I going to have snacks? When am I going to go to the bathroom? When am I going to refill my beverages? And just make that a part of your day so that it doesn't feel like it's an interruption, but also so that you can stay focused and actually work when you said you would work. A lot of the times being productive is just about honoring the commitment that you made to get certain things done. And so that actually brings me to tip number 4, which is to plan your work in terms of outcomes, not tasks. So for example, you could say, I want to work on my business for the next 3 hours. Or you could say, in these 3 hours, I want to publish my website, write 3 Instagram captions, schedule those captions to go out over the next 3 days, and email 2 potential clients. That is outcome focused. When you are outcome focused, you are incredibly more productive, and this is the difference between being productive and being busy. Being busy is I've been working, but what am I even getting done? and being productive is everything I do actually moves me forward towards the life I want to have, and I'm really connected not just to what I want to do, but why I want to do it. And this is also important because it helps you understand what done looks like. If you work 8 hours a day and you don't feel done, or you don't feel like you've actually fully completed everything, it's because you probably weren't clear on what done actually looks like. And so, for example, if you say, I want to just work on my business, you're never going to be done working on your business. You're going to be working on your business for the next 20, 30, 40, 50, however many years you're going to be working in your career. But if you say, done today looks like I have emailed 2 potential clients, written and scheduled 3 Instagram posts, and published my website, then you will actually feel a sense of completion at the end of the day, which will make it much easier for you to get up and be productive tomorrow, because you will feel and know that you're making progress. So define what done looks like and plan in terms of outcomes, not tasks. And then the final tip that I have for you, everybody says this, but it is so important, is to have something intentional in your ears, even if it's silence. But I want you to actually think about, like, what do I want to be listening to while I work? Because what you listen to actually really plays a role in whether or not you're able to stay focused and actually stay engaged and get your work done. When I work and I'm listening to a certain playlist, it is so much easier to lock in and actually get things done. And it's not always the same thing every time for me. Sometimes it's ASMR, sometimes it's a playlist that I have on my Spotify, sometimes it's a podcast. If I'm doing work that doesn't require me to really think, if it's just like maybe I'm uploading a bunch of podcast episodes or something that isn't like very mentally taxing, I'll listen to a podcast. And listening to a podcast will help me feel more motivated to work on my stuff because I'm listening to people talk about their own productive lives that they're living. And so intentionally curate what you're going to be listening to while you're working, and that will make it so much easier to be productive. Again, I know that everybody says this, but don't sleep on it because it actually makes a huge difference. And honestly, when it comes to productivity, it's not just about having one good day or being productive for a week. It's about getting into the habit of being a productive person. To help you do that, I've actually created a free resource. It is a productivity and habits guide, and it really just includes, this guide has journal prompts. I link out to different videos that are really helpful for certain topics like creating routines or being consistent. And it is really the holy grail of how to be the most productive version of yourself. So if you're looking for support in that area, I will link that guide down below. It is completely free to download. And this is also the kind of thing that I support my clients with. Month after month, my clients and I set goals together, and then we work through what it is going to take to achieve those goals. We coach on topics just like this: how to be more productive, how to be more focused, how to actually start thinking in terms of outcomes versus tasks. This is the work that my clients and I do together week after week. And so if you have something big that you want to accomplish and you're not moving forward with it, or you're not feeling productive, you're having trouble focusing, then working with me is a great way to make sure that you actually lock in and get that goal achieved. And if you want to learn more about what it is like to become a client, I actually will link my consultations down below. On these calls, we will actually talk about what your different goals are for your life, your business, any area where you're needing support, and I will actually map out a plan right there for you on the call, breaking down step by step how to get from where you are now to where you want to be. And then if you choose to go into a coaching relationship with me, that is where we will actually implement the plan together and process anything that comes up and really make sure that you have all the support you need to create the life that you want. So coaching with me is a great option if this video resonated with you, and I will link the consultation calendar down below. Finally, if you've made it to the end of this video, then you have to know that I have a podcast with over 170 episodes. It is called the You 2.0 podcast, and it is all about helping you become the next version of yourself so that you can create the next chapter in your life. I will link the podcast down below, or you can search You 2.0 podcast in Apple or Spotify to find me over there. All right. I love you so much, and I will see you again very soon in another video. Mwah. Take care.